Hello everyone, welcome to Tech World with MJ Desai Murari. So currently I'm planning to create a session or you can say a course over C Sharp programming. So you already know that if you want to go in the software field or you can go specifically in development field, then you must have the idea of any of the programming language at the initial stage, either it is C++, C Sharp, Java, PHP or Python. So, in this complete courses, I will guide you how you can start your journey step by step to learn C sharp programming. And in future, I will show you everything in real life project development, like how you can create a software or web application with the help of Visual Studio, .NET, and C Sharp. Okay, so this is the first session related to environment setup. Then I will guide you the one by one steps related to the C Sharp concept. Okay, so now we'll come on the another slide. So I mean the prerequisite is required for you to understand before the C Sharp programming. You must have to set up the environment where you will write the code and execute whatever logic you will write. Okay, so I mean this is the step that you need to consider. First, search Visual Studio, download in your browser. Any browser you have, you can just go and write the Visual Studio download. So I will do everything in step by step, but for your considerations, I have added this point. Okay, so download Visual Studio installer. Another point is go to your download location. Whatever location you have downloaded that particular installer, you will just double click over there and you will have an option called continue. Once you will click on continue, you will have a panel or you can say a wizard where there will be a different type of frameworks which is available. So according to your requirement, you can select whatever framework is required. Okay. So I will show you what is the basic framework is required for initial stage. In future, if you want some other framework, then you will just go and how you can change it. I will show as well. Another is click on the install button. So I mean it should take 20 to 30 minutes for a good system, but it will depend on whatever processor you have. And another is recommended to restart your system, but this is optional. So I mean this is the good if you will restart your system for set up everything properly. Otherwise, you can skip this point as well. And the source Visual Studio in your search bar. Okay, once your installation will be done, then you will just go in your search bar of your computer and you will search the Visual Studio. Then you will have whatever version you have installed inside. And once you will click on that, then you must have to uh, log in with your Microsoft account. So either you will have or you can create. It is very easy to create the Microsoft account, and you just need to log in with that. Once you will done the above all steps, then enjoying your programming. Okay. So now let's come on our screen. I will show you everything in detail how you can do it. So here in the browser, I will just write the Visual Studio install. Okay, I will write Visual Studio download. Okay, I will click on that. Here you will have different options. So I will click on the first, or I will click on the second one or first one, anyone. No, no, this is the Visual Studio code. Okay, okay. So one thing I would like to clear yourself as well. So currently I'm downloading the Visual Studio 2022, but the same thing you can do with Visual Studio Code as well. But why we are going with Visual Studio 2022? Reason behind in the Visual Studio, I personally recommend you to go with Visual Studio at the initial stage because inside the Visual Studio IDE you will have different type of privileges and easy to manage everything. Once you will have the command over writing the code and everything, then you can go with any editor. So you will have a lightweight Visual Studio Code editor as well, but at the initial stage you have to go with Visual Studio because this is a complete package in terms of whole processing and everything for writing the code. Okay, so there you will have the option to direct deployment, direct code checking and everything. Okay, so I mean, this is good at the initial stage. So here you can see the community, professional, and enterprise version. So community, it means it is totally free for the community. Professional, I mean, the license is required, and enterprise is highest license is required. So it is depend on what you want, but at the initial stage you can go with the community. So I mean, most of the things is available inside the community, but something which is cost in terms of Microsoft, which is available inside the professional and enterprise. For the learning purpose, you can go with the community as well. Not an issue. Okay, and here you can see the preview. So preview means after 2022, whatever version is available, I mean, the work is going on, or any other version of the Visual Studio which is comes under the preview. Okay, so we'll go with the community. I will click on uh, free download. Okay, so once you will click on free download, okay, in my system I already have downloaded it, but for your understanding, I will do everything from the scratch. So here you can see in my download location, this file is available. I will just double click on this file. Once click on yes. So here you can see the Visual Studio installer, and you will click on continue. So in my case, because the installer already there in my system, so it will directly put me on the screen where you can see the whatever panel I was talking about in the slide. So this is the panel that I am talking about. Okay, so here you can see, because this framework, this and this, I already have selected uh, for my basic purpose. So I mean, basically you can go with this uh, ASP.NET and web development. You can go with Azure as well, but initially it is not required. Okay, so once you will have the selection is done, then here you can see, I mean, the space is 3.21 GB. So this is looks. I will again select it. So here, once you will select the all framework which is required. So here you can see the space will be increased. So it will be almost around 10 to 12 GB space must be in your system for the basic installations. And here you can see the different type of framework is available, but it is depend on whatever project you have and whatever requirement you have. So for example, in future, if you want, because in my case I have already installed, so I will not go to click on this. So and here you can see in my case it is showing modify. Reason behind, I already have installed the Visual Studio previously, that's why it is showing them modify. Okay, so I will show you the further steps. So for example, some of the framework which is required again in my system, because I have already installed, so I will search the Visual Studio installer here. So once I will search the Visual Studio installer, so here you can see in the installed case, you will have this IDE is installed, and you will have the modify, launch, and more options. So you will click on modify, and if you require, I mean, I already have installed the ASP.NET web development, but currently, as per our requirement, the Azure development is also required. Then I will click on that Azure, and here you can see the 2.78 GB is required, and I will click on modify. So once I will click on modify, then this installation process will be start, and it will take, I mean, 10 to 15 minutes, because only 2.78 GB is required. But the first time it must be take minimum 20 to 30 minutes according to your system process. Okay. So this is the step that you need to follow. So please keep consider, if you are a beginner, and at the initial stage, if you want just to set up the environment, you just have to click on this one, ASP.NET web development. And if you want to write the window application as well, then here you will click on the desktop as well. Okay, otherwise the rest of the thing you do not need to check. In future, if you require, then you will click on installer, and you can just go and modify from here as well. Okay, so at the initial stage, so keep consider, just first and this .NET desktop development you must have to check. And then here you will have the install. In my case it is modified, but in your first time it should be at the install. So this is the process of the selection. Okay, once you will select the things, then you will just go in the search bar. You will search here Visual Studio 2122. So this is the icon, and here you can see the Visual Studio. Okay, so in my case I already have logged in. That's why uh, first time it was asking for login with the Microsoft credential. Because I already have logged in. That's why the next time it is not asking. So when you will download it and install the Visual Studio, the first time when you will open, then you must have to provide your either you must have, or you can create your Microsoft credentials for the starting for the journey. Okay, so that it's for the session. In the next session, I will show you how you can start the further project. I mean, how you can write your first hello world program in the console. Okay, and with that I will explain you all basic id related things and its uses in the next session. Hope this video looks helpful to start your journey with C sharp and .NET. So please keep keep us supported with your like and subscribe, so I will create the more videos related to this particular sessions. Okay,